If you've ever looked at your kitchen scraps and felt, a bit guilty about tossing them in the trash, or if you've dreamed of having rich, fertile soil but felt overwhelmed by those traditional composting methods, this guide is about to change your gardening game forever. Welcome to the world of bottle composting, a revolutionary approach that transforms your kitchen waste into liquid gold without the backbreaking work of pile turning, temperature monitoring, or dedicating precious yard space to a compost bin. Traditional composting can feel like a full-time job. You need the right carbon-to-nitrogen ratio, proper aeration, regular turning, and patience that spans months. For busy gardeners, apartment dwellers, or honestly, anyone who just wants results without the fuss, bottle composting offers an elegant solution that fits right in your kitchen or even on your balcony. This method isn't just convenient, it's incredibly effective. By creating a controlled fermentation environment, you're basically brewing a concentrated nutrient tea that your plants will absorb immediately. Unlike traditional compost that needs to break down completely before use, your bottle compost creates bioavailable nutrients that plants can access right away, leading to faster growth and healthier root systems. When you create compost in a bottle, you're establishing a miniature ecosystem where beneficial microorganisms thrive in an anaerobic environment. The sealed container prevents oxygen from entering, which encourages lacto-fermentation, the same process used in making sauerkraut or kimchi. This fermentation process breaks down organic matter rapidly while preserving and concentrating nutrients that might otherwise be lost in traditional aerobic composting. So, the daily shaking serves multiple purposes beyond just mixing ingredients. It helps distribute the microorganisms throughout the mixture, prevents any one area from becoming too acidic or alkaline, and ensures that all organic matter comes into contact with the beneficial bacteria that drive the fermentation process. This consistent agitation, honestly, accelerates decomposition and creates a more uniform final product. Alright, let's talk about gathering your materials, what you need and why. Start with a clean plastic bottle. A 2-liter soda bottle works perfectly, though really any large plastic container with a secure lid will suffice. Glass jars can work too, but plastic offers flexibility when shaking and won't shatter if accidentally dropped. Plus, the transparency also allows you to monitor the fermentation progress visually. Your green materials, well, they form the foundation of nutrients. Kitchen scraps like fruit peels, vegetable trimmings, coffee grounds, and eggshells provide nitrogen and essential minerals. Just avoid meat, dairy, or oily foods as these can create unpleasant odors and attract unwanted bacteria. The beauty of this system is that almost any plant-based kitchen waste becomes valuable compost material. Brown materials balance your mixture and provide carbon. Dried leaves work wonderfully if available, but hey, don't worry if you're in an urban environment. Shredded newspaper, cardboard, or even paper towels serve the same purpose. The key is achieving roughly equal parts green and brown materials by volume, though honestly, this system is pretty forgiving if your ratios aren't perfect. Alright, let's walk through the step-by-step creation process. Begin by adding your first layer of green materials to the bottom of your bottle. Oh, and be sure to chop larger pieces into smaller chunks. This increases surface area and actually helps speed up decomposition. Next, add a layer of brown materials, creating an alternating pattern that really promotes proper fermentation. Keep layering just like this until your bottle is about 3/4 full, leaving some room for liquid and expansion. The handful of garden soil or existing compost serves as your microbial starter culture. These beneficial organisms jumpstart the fermentation process and ensure you're introducing the right types of bacteria. If you don't have access to garden soil, a small amount of unpasteurized yogurt or even a commercial compost accelerator can serve the same purpose. So, go ahead and fill the bottle with water until all of the materials are fully submerged. This step, creates the anaerobic environment that's really necessary for proper fermentation. Next, seal the container tightly and begin your daily shaking routine. At first, you might notice some expansion as gases form. This is completely normal and actually indicates active fermentation. During the first few days, you'll notice the water becoming cloudy and maybe even developing a slightly sour smell, kind of like fermented vegetables. This is a sign that beneficial bacteria are establishing themselves and starting to break down the organic matter. The mixture may also foam a bit when you shake it, which just shows that there's active microbial activity going on. By the end of the first week, the liquid will darken quite a bit as nutrients leach out from the decomposing materials. The smell should mellow out into something earthy rather than sharp or unpleasant. But if you detect any truly foul odors, it could mean your mixture has too much green material or not enough brown matter, so just add more shredded paper or leaves to balance things out. After about 2 weeks of daily shaking, your compost tea is, well, finally ready for use. The liquid should be a dark brown color with a really rich, earthy aroma. You'll probably notice that the solid materials have shrunk quite a bit, and the overall volume may have reduced by half or even more as decomposition progressed. Never apply your compost tea directly to plants. It's just way too concentrated and can actually burn roots or foliage. The standard dilution ratio is 1 part compost tea to 10 parts water, though you can totally adjust this based on your plant's needs. Seedlings and delicate plants will benefit from even more dilute solutions, while established vegetables and heavy feeders can handle slightly stronger concentrations. Apply your diluted compost tea directly to the soil around your plant roots rather than on the leaves. This helps prevent any potential burning and lets the roots absorb nutrients right away. For potted plants, pour slowly until you see water draining from the bottom. And for garden beds, a thorough soaking that penetrates several inches into the soil really does the trick. If your mixture develops an unpleasant sulfur smell, you likely have too much nitrogen-rich material, so just add more brown materials and continue shaking. Conversely, if fermentation seems slow with little change after a week, go ahead and add more green materials or maybe a bit more soil to boost microbial activity. Mold growth on the surface isn't necessarily problematic if it's white or light-colored. This often indicates healthy fermentation. However, black or green mold suggests contamination, and honestly, it's better to start fresh. Make sure your initial materials are clean and your bottle is properly sealed to prevent this issue. Once you experience the benefits of bottle composting, you'll likely want to expand your operation. Multiple bottles allow for continuous production. If you start a new bottle every week, you'll have fresh compost tea available constantly. Different bottles can accommodate different types of materials, letting you create specialized teas for specific plant needs. Consider creating themed bottles, like one focused on calcium-rich materials such as eggshells for tomatoes, another emphasizing potassium-rich banana peels for flowering plants, or maybe one featuring coffee grounds for acid-loving plants. This approach lets you tailor your fertilizer to specific garden requirements. Regular application of compost tea doesn't just feed your plants, it actually transforms your soil's microbial ecosystem. The beneficial bacteria and other microorganisms in your tea, they start to establish themselves in the soil, which improves nutrient cycling, disease resistance, and overall soil structure. Over time, you'll notice improved water retention, better drainage, and honestly, just healthier, more resilient plants. This method also represents a really sustainable approach to waste reduction. Every bottle of compost tea you make diverts organic waste from landfills while creating valuable garden inputs. It's a perfect example of circular gardening, transforming waste into resources that support continued plant growth and food production. Ready to transform your garden? Bottle composting proves that effective gardening doesn't require complicated systems or endless labor. With just a few minutes of daily attention, you can turn kitchen waste into powerful plant nutrition that honestly rivals those expensive commercial fertilizers. Your plants will show their appreciation with vigorous growth, abundant blooms, and of course, bountiful harvests. Start your first bottle today, using scraps from dinner preparation, and in just about 2 weeks, you'll have your first batch of liquid garden gold. Don't forget to subscribe to Smart Garden for more innovative, time-saving techniques that make gardening accessible and enjoyable for everyone. Share this guide with fellow gardeners who could benefit from this simple yet powerful composting method. Together, we're growing a community of smarter, more sustainable gardeners.